So ladies and gentlemen, fight number 2 this evening will be contested in the amateur lightweight division and is brought to you by TikTok Nutrition, contested over 3 3-minute rounds. And introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 70.6 kilos and trains at a freestyle MMA, holding an amateur MMA record of 1 win for 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nelson Chileno Ampuero. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he weighed in at 69.4 kilos and trains out of Puma. Tonight, he makes his MMA debut. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jonathan Dopo Diaz. And when the action begins, your referee in charge, Peter Hickmott.
Here we go, round 1, presented by TikTok. Ampuero in the blue corner, Diaz in the red corner, who's in the black trunks, and we're underway here.
You can immediately see that Diaz towering over Ampuero here tonight. Look for Ampuero to get this fight to the ground. However, he is enjoying a bit of striking.
Yeah, and caught one of the kicks there. Oh boy, Diaz has got to be in trouble from that. My goodness.
Yeah, that was a massive slam by Nelson. That's exactly what he wanted to do.
Ground,
Use those strikes to get in close. Didn't he take Diaz for a ride, Drew?
Well, just the way that Diaz landed on that neck, and wow, he caught the kick, Ampuero, and then spun him around. He's done well though, Diaz. Not to let it phase him, but Ampuero with the early position here.
Both men very, very experienced in grappling. Diaz looks like he's got a hold of an arm here.
Yes, Ampuero just trying to get that arm out of that arm bar. But it's the unassuming Brazilian here who manages to evade Diaz's attempts. Of course, Diaz quite taller, as you mentioned, Tanira, and potentially awkward for Ampuero tonight.
Yeah, for the first 10 seconds of this fight, a little bit awkward until Ampuero got his hands on him, and you know that slam will be on the eternal highlight reel for years to come. And you know, both these guys experienced in grappling, but you'd have to say that Ampuero got the upper hand at the moment, as he's just trying to smother Diaz up against the cage here.
And that he is doing. He's taken away Diaz's legs, so he's flattening his back now, the Spaniard, as Ampuero moves in, getting ready for some strikes here as he starts throwing them. Diaz in a little bit of bother here early in the first. Less than a minute remaining. Of course, three-minute rounds. This is a lightweight battle. And it's Spain versus Brazil as Diaz looks to get to his feet and does so, but not out of trouble just yet.
No, he's got to be careful here. It's the same. That's the same grip he had, that Gable grip on the left side that he had when he slammed Diaz earlier on. But I think he's learned from that, and Ampuero continued to apply his pressure.
Ampuero, of course, very unassuming if you look at the height and reach advantages he gives away, but certainly knows how to use every morsel of his body strength as he looks for another takedown here.
He gets it.
Work some shots now. Yeah, 10 seconds.
This will probably be the story of this fight, is just the continuous pressure from Nelson as we finish round number 1. No questions as to who's in front going to the second jury.
And he'll be looking to build on what was a super impressive first round from the Brazilian. We get set for round 2 here. You're watching Eternal MMA 55. Ampuero up against Diaz here.
You good? You good? Do it again.
It's been a baptism of fire for Dopo. Jonathan Diaz been training the last 4 years here in Australia from the Gold Coast, and already he's flat on his back.
Yeah, well, that's the problem when you go to the body straight away. A nice body kick there by Diaz, but with a grappler like Nelson Ampuero, you don't necessarily want to spend any more time in this spot. Drew, another thing to take into account is in all amateur bouts, they're only 3 minutes. And 3 minutes seems like a long time, but when you're on the bottom, you know, I tell you what, and you're not doing much, you want to make sure you're making the most of it. And this is what Diaz needs to do. He needs to get back to his feet and start to strike, because this is going to be Nelson's game plan for the rest of this fight. And you could see him cruise to a unanimous decision victory, but don't count Diaz just out just yet, as he seems to slide away there, smothered again by Nelson.
Nelson Ampuero just having his own way here up against Diaz.
Finger out of the neck,
Looking for his second victory in his first 3 fights. The Brazilian, who's on top at this stage in the red and green trunks.
Diaz just struggling to get a hold of an arm there, especially here in the second. Both guys, they've got a bit of shine,
Clear.
a bit slippery. He does a good job of getting back to his feet. Can he stay on his feet, Drew? That's the question.
Well, he's
Watch your
certainly
shots,
struggling
John.
to stay on his feet at this juncture. As Ampuero again with yet another takedown. And getting his arm in a tricky spot here as Diaz looks to counter.
He's done good here, but he's just lost that arm. I was going to say, if he could extend those hips and isolate that joint, then Nelson might be in a bit of trouble. But again, just a bit slippery at this stage.
He's probably lucky that Ampuero did lose 50 kilos as Diaz at the moment, because he'd have to deal with a lot more weight on top of him throughout the course of this fight. Approaching 30 seconds to go here in the second. Diaz really unable to find his feet all throughout this fight, really, thus far. And let's face it, Tanira, it's not the easiest sometimes to make decisions when you're flat on your back.
No, not at all. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch, you know, when you look at Nelson and the pressure he's applying, just grinding and working away, not just physically but mentally. You know, this is a tough ask, because obviously the instruction, you know, coming from Vince and those in the corner will be to Diaz that you'd have to think he'd have to finish this fight to win, because it has been all about Nelson Ampuero.
On debut tonight, of course, Diaz. Final seconds in the second.
Time is round. Clear it out.
And there it is again. The second ends just as the first did. And of course, Diaz's coach, Jan Cabral, an ex-UFC fighter himself. And there's the Brazilian, Nelson Ampuero. And there's Diaz. Final 3-minute round here
Back. Go back.
in this
Good.
lightweight bout.
Finish it off. Thanks,
We're
gents.
watching Eternal MMA 55.
Hands up, Jonathan. Don't look tight. Hands up.
Nelson's starting to find his range. He lands a nice right hand there, Drew.
Well, Diaz really needs to show something. I mean, just a little bit tentative at the moment.
Nelson's starting to find his range. And Diaz, he looks a bit taxed in those first 2 rounds. I don't blame him.
Does just maybe a leg kick, just keep Ampuero away from him. But at the moment, he's just a sitting duck as Ampuero takes him down again.
Look for Ampuero to strike here. I think that, you know, at this stage in the fight, 2 submission attempts by Diaz, constant pressure by Ampuero. You know, it's highly possible that if Nelson starts to open up here, he could find gaps and start landing some big shots on Diaz as he takes him to the end of the cage.
And just working him towards that area of the cage now, and starting to connect with a few strikes on Diaz as well. And he's in a bit of trouble here, Diaz.
Yeah, well, he's just got to find answers that I don't necessarily know what he can find here in the 3rd round that he didn't find in the first 2. You know, you can't question the heart of Diaz. You can't question the effort. You can't question the passion. But it's all been Nelson Ampuero right up until this point as they're right in front of us.
Approaching the final minute, he will need a knockout here. You would think Diaz, or a submission. We'll be looking for that arm, no doubt, if he can get a hold of one. But at the moment, it's Ampuero in control.
Time to work, Nelly.
I mean, he's exactly where he needs to be, and that's the beauty about being in full guard and having the ability to strike, is that you don't necessarily have to advance position if you are finding success. And I think in the eyes of the judges, Nelson Ampuero has been nothing but successful for the entirety of this fight.
Just really making it unable for Diaz to find a target by keeping his head nice and close. Ampuero.
Sweeping, Jonathan.
And the clock's on his side now.
Second time to work,
Watch
Nelly.
fingers.
10 seconds, Jonathan.
Nelson should,
Let's go.
whether he decides to open up or not, Jury, he should cruise to victory here. Nonetheless, don't count Diaz out just yet.
Final seconds for Diaz here. Can he find that arm submission? Ampuero
Time, there's your match.
maintains his position, and a wonderful performance, a comprehensive performance by Nelson Chileno Ampuero, as the both fighters embrace. And well done to Diaz as well, of course, on debut tonight. And that concludes the 3 rounds for that one. Thanks to
So ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score the contest 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision in the blue corner, Nelson Chileno Ampuero. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with our winner and Nelson. A fantastic performance, a shutout on all 3 judges' scorecards. Talk to me a little bit about how the fight felt from your perspective.
All right, first thing is Chileno, not Chileno. I'm Nelson Chileno. Nah, just mucking around. I got a good, first thing, big credit to Jonathan Diaz as an opponent and his team. Really good fight, made me really work for it. Look, I train with the best fighter in Australia, the best featherweight in the world. Day in, day out, they get me ready for these sort of occasions. I'm too strong. I've been saying that to myself for a long time. It's only me who can, determine if I lose or I win, so I just put it all out there and make sure I get that W.
And of course, the grappling got the work done here tonight. I'm assuming that was the game plan coming in.
Well, I'm comfortable everywhere, but I felt when I got him on the ground, he does have a slick guard, had to be careful with the arm bars, but I'm comfortable on the ground. I knew I sort of had it over him on the ground. He couldn't get up, he couldn't really move that much, just throw that arm up, the legs up for the arm bar. So I'm just happy if we get the job done, stick to what I know, and just be too strong.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic performance. Can't wait to see more. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner,